have. Please stay with us. We'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll discuss some of these headlines with you. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Let's talk about the PDP crisis. Apparently, it's not over. This is months and months of the same issue going on. And last week, we thought the whole thing was resolved since the Board of Trustees of the party passed a vote of confidence on the party chairman. And today in the papers, we see that Southwest governors are in disagreements, apparently, and they paid a visit to Atiku to talk about this. And Atiku's response basically was it is achievable, but due process must be followed. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think we've talked about this severally on this platform. I have had my opinion to be that if the PDP chairman should be asked to resign, it has to be followed due process. There are constitutional guidelines to these processes. If the chairman has erred in any way, has he done anything that is not constitutional, has he embezzled fund, and last week we saw that the Board of Trustees passed a vote of confidence on him. So on what basis is the PDP chairman resigning?
Basically, it's the zoning issue. That is the major problem.
Like I always said before, the PDP did not respect the zoning principle from the beginning. So at this time, nobody should be talking about zoning in the PDP, because if the PDP were to respect the zoning formula, the ticket shouldn't have been thrown open. They would have sectionalized it. Okay, now, if we're zoning the ticket to the north, the presidential ticket to the north, the chairmanship should be zoned to the south. But they didn't do all that. So, there's a saying that says, you don't give medicine after death. That is what they're trying to do now. So it's definitely not going to work.
Well, we'll have to wait to see if it works out or not.
I just feel these people who are demanding for the resignation of the party chairman are spoilers. You understand? They want to remain in the party and weaken the strength of the PDP whilst working for the opposition. It's as simple as that. If you look at it holistically, you understand that there is no need at all to fight the party chairman.
Well, we'll see how that develops in the PDP. In Ekiti State, a road has collapsed, and then the picture of the road is quite, the disaster was
in the
quite
Punch
drastic.
newspaper.
Yes, and then I saw something like this also yesterday in another newspaper in a different state. What do you think about things like this reoccurring?
You see, it all goes down to poor supervision of these contracts. You see, when the government issues out, be it the state or the federal government, when they issue out the contract to a contractor, pay the contractor money, they assume that is all. Whether the contractor uses substandard materials or
they don't
supervise it. They don't care how the work is done, what kind of manpower are you employing, are they qualified, or are they just mushroom contractors? You know, the government do not really take its time to do evaluation on the project they award to individuals or even government agencies. This is the result of what we get when you have poor engineers that do the construction that doesn't stand the test of time.
I hope other states learn and then learn to supervise when these projects are being handed out.
Not only supervise, award this contract to people that you know that are competent. Not just a new company that just came, they don't have experience, they've not constructed even a 100-kilometer road before, just because probably he's your party member or he's your friend or he's your brother, you just award the contract to him. That's what happens. People just go overnight, go to CAC, register a construction company without even equipment. They don't even have their own equipment. All they need to do is they'll get this contract, sublet it to another company. And in that process, they divide the money almost into two. And the other company will also have to make profit. So they have to use substandard materials.
And now this event in Ekiti State have left motorists stranded. Probably there are no alternative routes. Maybe this is like a major road, and then
we have to just call on the government that are responsible for that to quickly.
Yeah, and I hope it is resolved as soon as possible.
Yeah, because a lot of businesses will be affected.
Exactly. Moving on, the federal government has paid 289 million naira to families of police brutality victims, 74 families, or better still 74 victims to be precise. And this is talking about the NSAS, basically, those who lost their lives during that period. And I think this is a good one. It's not so much as it cannot bring back these people who have lost their lives to police brutality, but then I think it's some form of succor to their families.
It is also a wake-up call to the Nigerian police force. Why am I saying this? Is if they had given the right orientation to their staff or their officers, they wouldn't have any reason whatsoever to shoot at peaceful protesters. I mean, you don't see this happening in saner climes. People who are not armed coming out to protest, to air their opinion to government. Protest is part of a healthy democracy, peaceful protest. But in Nigeria, you don't see a situation where people protest peacefully without police brutality. So I think it should be a wake-up call to the Nigerian police force so that they do not spend this kind of money on issues they are not supposed to spend on. Why compensate families when police are supposed to protect the protesters from harm?
In line with the NSAS, yesterday we saw in the papers that Nigerian students basically protested in Ibadan concerning the ASU strike. And today it's in the papers that they plan to make it a nationwide thing if the ASU strike is not called off. It is also, one of the papers also highlighted that some of them are perpetrating some form of mischief, basically destroying and things like that.
Well, I am a NANS comrade. I've served at the highest level of NANS when I was a student. The NANS we have now is not the NANS we used to have those days. NANS used to be a very, very proactive body. I mean, they delayed too long before they come out to issue this protest after a long while of strike. The reason is because the NANS is no longer an independent body because of their romance with politicians, going to collect money, collect contracts and all that. So you can't come up openly to challenge the policies of government. Because of your steady romance with those in authority. If not, if the NANS leadership was proactive, the strike shouldn't last this long. If there's a nationwide protest of students all over Nigeria, I think the government would listen to them.
Well, this strike, it went on for a while, like 2 months back.
Yeah.
But basically, it was not as strong and as loud as the NSAS protest. But I saw it on Twitter and other social media platforms. In various states, students actually came out to speak, and then the government basically didn't listen because this is months after.
It's long overdue because the government won't take them serious. Most of the leaders of these groups meet with the politicians indoors, and I mean, they'll tell you, you don't need to protest. The government is working on it. They'll give you people transport to go back. And then you keep quiet. If not, the NANS has capacity to bring the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on a round table
and discuss
the way forward of the students. They have such capacity. You understand? But because of people who are in office are just interested in what they benefit, what they make out of office before they are 1 year in office, they no longer care about the mandates which they were elected to protect.
That's the news we have this morning. Thanks for joining us. My name is Double Gifts, and I've had Mr. NCB Clifford with me. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Aspheric TV on YouTube, and also follow us on all of our social media platforms. On Instagram and Twitter, we are Aspheric News, and on Facebook, we are Official Aspheric News. Thanks for watching. Bye.